Hey, you, Nina here. You are officially listening to Triggered. Can we play with that wherever you get your podcasts? You might also be watching us on YouTube. Hey, now here we go. Today we have Kathryn Scurry on the episode. Now, Kathryn is going to really lean into the power of taking accountability for yourself and accountability for others, in particular when you've had something traumatic happen. So, if that at all is speaking to you, because accountability is on your plate, or trauma is on your plate, or perhaps both of them, this may be a fantastic episode for you. Kathryn Scurry is of Queer Therapy Network. She is going to be talking today. So, I want you to get out your journal or have a really good friend to dialogue with what comes up for you in this episode, okay? We have some universal human truths. And while we're not going to be talking about everything regarding this trigger of trauma and accountability, right, for yourself and others, while it won't be everything, y'all, it will be at least one facet to get you transforming hard conversations into teachable moments. So grab your journal or that good friend, get ready because you know I'm curious. You ready to play?
Welcome to Triggered. Can we play with that? You know that moment when your emotions ramp up in an instant, leaving you feeling helpless, frozen, or out of control? In that moment, you've been emotionally hijacked, the very definition of triggered. And I want to ask you, can we play with that? I'm Nina L. Garcia, drama therapist and empowerment coach of Houston Creative Arts Therapy. Join me as we discover ways to empower you and the people who mean the most to you to transform hard conversations into teachable moments. Triggered. Real playful, real respectful, real empowered.
Let's take a breath. Kathryn, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. This has been a long time in the making, it feels like.
I know. Thank you for having me. This is exciting for me too.
Okay, so before we really dive in, I like to set the intent right at the top of the episode, right? We're going to hear a real human story. We're going to have a human to human interaction and conversation, right? And the whole purpose of every episode of Trigger Can We Play with That is to transform a hard conversation into a teachable moment, right? I want to empower everyone to be able to explore difficult spaces. So, do you consent? Can we do this together?
Yes, we can.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, wonderful. Let's go ahead and hear a little intro from you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Kathryn Scurry. Tell us identities, roles, what's present for you, whatever you want the audience to know.
Okay, let's see. Where do I begin? Briefly, my name is Kathryn Scurry, and I identify as a lesbian. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And to say it's kind of hard because I do a lot, Nina. I'm serious. When I say
Oh,
that,
yeah.
I've transitioned from baking and pastry to music to film and television and
Uh-huh.
then to mental health. So it's been a journey for me. And
Mm.
right now, at this present moment, I'm
Mhm.
in my home in the kitchen.
Okay.
It is 1:14 and it's a calm space right now. Today is
Mm.
a very exciting day for me. It's a relief day for me because I've been in fight or flight for the past couple of weeks. I've been in that mode heavily,
Mhm, mhm,
not
mhm.
sleeping, not eating. But today, I got my peace of mind finally. So I'm just happy to be here with you. Like, it's so
Oh.
exciting.
All right, so I imagine that we're going to be exploring some of this the past few weeks, right? What's given
Mhm.
you some peace of mind today. Before we launch into the story, first tool of the episode for everyone listening or watching out there, this is where you get that journal out and you write down. This is a tool you can use. It's your internal weather check-in, right? So, Kathryn, I want to pass the ball on over to you, and I want to ask you before we dive in. What's your internal weather like? Setting, day, night, could be anywhere, realistic or not. What's your internal weather?
I would say my internal weather is it's warm. It's
Mhm.
inviting.
Mm.
It's it's like I conquered.
Ooh.
It's conquered.
Mm.
Yes, it's
Mhm.
calm. It's
Okay.
conquered. Like you've done your job.
Mm-hmm,
Well
mm-hmm.
done. Yes.
As you say that, when you say conquered, my whole body like was like like it feels settled, like grounded and confident. Are those also?
Exactly. I've
Mm,
become very grounded and yes, confident. That's what it's taught me over the past couple of weeks. Confidence.
yeah,
Put your best
absolutely.
foot forward, no matter if you by yourself, no one else believes in you.
Yes.
Stick to the script.
Put the best foot forward and stick to the script. Beautifully said, because it's gonna take us right to the title of your moment, right? And what you're hoping people are
Mm-hmm.
gonna get out of this episode. So everyone out there watching or listening, perk up. Here we go. The title of Kathryn's moment is If These Scars Could Talk. And what Kathryn's hoping that we take away is enlightenment in how we can remind ourselves that there is always hope, right? There's always hope. We got to keep fighting. We got to keep advocating. Kathryn, I'm going to pass the ball on over to you. Will you share your story in a nutshell of If These Scars Could Talk?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the title. This title is near and dear to me because what people don't understand, Nina, is like physically you can look okay, but it's the internal and the emotional and the scars that you have, and you have to put on this face. And I had to come to the realization, Nina, that I didn't have to be that person anymore. I needed to just let me be me. If that makes any sense,
Take
I
off the
would take,
mask.
yes, it was
Yep.
like I saw me, the younger me, and the me now. And I seen the resemblance in the traumas, in in the things that were going on. And I
Yeah,
finally
echoes.
came to myself and said, you know what? You two have to meet. You two have to resolve this. So
Mm.
what I did
Mhm.
was I I took like this time in this space, and I sat down with me. A lot of people don't believe that you can do this, but you can actually sit down with a younger you.
I'm a big proponent of this.
Yes. And when I seen the younger me, she was so broken and so lost, and just I didn't want her, if this makes any sense, I didn't want her and me to constantly go through this cycle, this cycle, this cycle.
Oh,
So I
yes.
had to assure her, hey, everything's going to be okay. I'm in
Mm.
charge now. So it was like when I did that, it's like we merged into
Oh my
one person.
gosh.
I'm so serious. It's like
Kathryn.
we merged into one person. But this is where it got interesting, Nina. And I'm going to get into the story. I kept seeing numbers 1111,
Uh-huh.
222,
Uh-huh.
555,
Yeah.
666, seven
Ooh.
angel numbers.
Uh-huh.
And as I was making that transition, every time I saw the number, I
Mhm.
screenshotted it in my phone.
Mhm.
And I went to go look up what it said. And I promise you, Nina, at that moment, whatever I was thinking, that's what it meant. It read it
Mm.
out. It said I
They're
needed to
speaking to
get out of
you.
my own way, get out of my
Mm.
comfort zone, that my angels are here. And I promise you, Nina, last night before we had this podcast, I saw the number 1111.
Educate
Yeah,
me.
yeah. The number 1111. And it said that moving forward, my life is going to change. It's going to transition in an upward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been happening. Starting with today, I told you I got this great news I wasn't expecting, not
Mm-hmm.
once, but twice. I got twice the double great news. So I know it's real.
Okay, okay. Before you even launch into the story, because I know a little bit, right? Everybody out there doesn't know yet. Y'all are going to want to listen to this, but already you are dropping some huge psychoeducational bombs, which are like in the best way possible, like gems. Okay. So one of the things that you already said, and I was like, I'm a huge proponent of that, is that what a lot of people call inner child work, right? Like you can talk
Mhm.
to that part of you, right? And the way that I will look at it is I say, even if it's not a child, you at 40 can talk to 20-year-old you, at 80 can talk to 40-year-old you. It's another part of
Yep.
you it's your relationship with some part of yourself, right? And so if some part of you is holding on to damage or trauma and it hasn't been processed through, it's still echoing in you, right?
Yep.
It's still
This is
affecting you.
true.
So if you can work on the relationship between those two parts, which is, it sounds like I want to know how you did it, but I know that's not why we're here today. But like what you're talking about is integration. it becomes, right? And this is what we see. I'm a trauma professional, right? When I work with clients on trauma, that's exactly what we want is we want integration. We want them to feel whole. We want them to feel like they can identify as themselves, whatever that means to them, right? That they are able to move forward in their life and that the trauma and drama of what happened is a part of their story now, as opposed to the alarm and danger, right? No, it's something that happened. It felt scary. Now we've worked through, and now it's just a part of the story, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you're talking, and the going back in, and I mean, there's so many things that you're talking about already that I'm like, this is so trauma informed for everybody out there who's struggling with trauma. It is possible to heal, to move forward.
It is.
And I am so ready to hear your story, right? Because now you've reached a point. The last few weeks have been stressful. Today, you got two little nuggets of news from the universe, right? So, passing it over to you, tell us, what's your story?
Okay, now before I get into the story,
Yes.
I just want to throw this other gem out here. Accountability is what I had to take. And that was one of the scariest things for me, Nina. But I took accountability finally.
Oh my gosh, Kathryn.
And that's how I was able to fully transition up.
Okay.
I took accountability.
Oh my gosh. Y'all out there with your journals, write down accountability, because I don't know how many podcast episodes I've done on you got to hold yourself accountable, right? The choices are yours, right? If nobody else is going to hold you accountable, you have to hold you accountable, right? People can try, don't get me wrong. They could try to hold you accountable. If you want to move forward, you have to own your truth. And it may be uncomfortable and it may be sticky. You have to explore the relationship with yourself to own your truth and then hold yourself accountable for what's that next move. Nobody else can do it for us. We've got to do it for ourselves. Incredible.
Yes. So really briefly, I'm going to get into the story, which started my eating and feeding disorder. It was August 31st, 2020. Purchased a product from a grocery store. I can't say names because right now it's currently in court, but I'm going to give you as much as I can. Okay. And within minutes, I just had this total freak out. My body went through many changes. My stomach swelled up like I was 9 months pregnant. My tongue went numb. Immediately, I called poison control. They say, hey, okay, go straight to the ER.
Okay.
Go to the ER, see the doctor. She does nothing. She just looks at me and says, oh, you just have acute food poisoning. Follow up with your primary care doctor. 24 hours passed. Now, mind you, I'm still sick. I can't do anything. I'm alleviating on myself, and I don't want to say the words, but it was horrible to the point it was black.
Oh my God.
And I was bleeding in places I shouldn't have been bleeding, in women's places. So I go back to the ER the next day and I'm sitting there waiting for them to see me, not knowing that the doctor the day before wrote something in my chart that had nothing to do with why I was there. She told them I was there as a result of tobacco abuse. Now, mind you, it wasn't smoke. Remember, she never did the exam. She did no blood work, no urine, no nothing. So keep going on. 3 days later, I'm sick as a dog. I'm burping.
And the product you purchased wasn't tobacco, right? The product you purchased.
No. Okay, it was a frozen fruit bar, healthy frozen fruit bar. Okay. But that's what she wrote.
Okay.
So I'm going through it. My body's breaking down. My sedimentation rate was 3 times the normal limit.
Educate me on sedimentation rate.
Well, sedimentation rate is pretty much like how your body flows, like your liver functions, everything. Mine was 3 times the normal limit. That's so heavy. A danger.
Okay, got it.
It wasn't functioning properly. So by the time I get to my primary care doctor, he's pissed off because she didn't do the blood work or the urine analysis. I wind up alleviating the whatever chemical was in the fruit bar in 24 hours. So when I get to him, now it's a problem for him because he got to do all the blood work and the urine. And that's where they found the issue. And it just goes on so horrible, Nina, because from him, they sent me to a gastro doctor who guessed on me. He didn't get it right. I had a colonoscopy. I had an endoscopy through the throat, wind up getting E. coli facialis, getting an infection from getting that procedure. Then they send me to a liver specialist who took a piece of my liver, and then they sent me back to the Now this is going on for months, Nina. Like they're just,
Months of your life.
meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
I've taken over 40 something medications that hasn't worked. I still have the bag in my closet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I do not get relief.
No, for months.
May, June, July,
Mm.
August, September, October comes around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
still sick, stomach swollen. Now, by this time, my face is swollen, my lips done turned blue. I got the pictures. I got hives. I'm breaking out in hives and stuff. And nobody can tell me what's going. They just guess.
I still don't know. Wow.
But let me tell you how the spirit, and I want people to understand the importance of the spiritual realm within this story, because it helped me a lot. How I got relief. No, let me say this first. I also had no taste, no sense of taste. I couldn't taste food all those months, and they kept COVID testing me, saying it's COVID, and it kept coming back negative. So this in October, I get to the pharmacy, and the pharmacist that knows me, she said, Miss Scurry, I noticed you're getting a lot of medication. What is going on? So I told her what happened. She said, listen to me. You need to go see an allergist. Okay. As soon as I get home that day, I make an appointment for the allergist. I go see the allergist, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the allergist learns about whatever was going on with me. He was even shocked. He was like, why would they even take you through all this when they could have sent you here way back in May, June?
I'm shocked.
But the story, no, don't get shocked yet. Oh, there's more. There's more. So he does the workup. You know, they do the allergy test where they put needles in your back. I'm not allergic to nothing. Nothing. So that goes back to, it was originally the fruit bar from the beginning. Because every allergy test, I'm not allergic to fruits, vegetables, nothing. But whatever was in that fruit bar, I mean, immediately, like it wasn't even 30 minutes, my stomach just started blowing up like a helium balloon. And I said, no, something's wrong. So long story short, he gives me the shot, Nina, right?
Even though you don't have allergies?
No, he had to give me, it's a Depromedrol. And what it does is, even if your body is going through whatever is going through, it helps it to calm it down, to get whatever is in you out.
Okay.
So trust me, this shot was a blessing. When he gave me the shot, Nina, everything went back to normal. I got my taste buds back. I was able to taste food again and everything, right?
Back online. Wow.
But this is the hurtful part. He said I could have got that in the ER the first day when I went to see that doctor. She did nothing. Nothing. So I went through this all these months, sick, not sleeping, not eating. When I say my body was past fight or flight, that's when the depression set in, the anxiety set in. Yeah. So on top of taking the medication, trying to get my gut back to normal, I had to take anxiety medication, depression medication. They were just giving me stuff like it was just a free-for-all. And then I had enough. I said, God, listen, I promise I need you right now because I can't do this. And you can tell it was taking a toll on my body. I got real skinny, like skinny. Yeah. I still have the pictures.
Yeah, I believe it.
And it was like in that moment, that woman at Walmart, a pharmacist, saved my life. If she didn't tell me to go to an allergist, I bet you to this day, I still would have been getting the runaround from these doctors. They didn't care nothing about me. And I kept saying, I ate this fruit bar. One doctor put I was delusional. Listen to nothing I said. He wrote, she is fixated and delusional. Wow. Meanwhile, I had the paper. Let me tell you how serious I was, Nina. I even requested the paperwork from the poison control center and the audio when I called and told them what I ingested. Yep. So it's not like nobody didn't know.
No.
Everybody had the audio and the paperwork. And they still told me I was delusional. They still told me I was delusional. That's what they said to me. Oh, she's delusional. Now, mind you, all this liver biopsy and all this stuff to my body was unnecessary. When they could have gave me a shot in the ER and sent me about my business, but they let me suffer for months. On top of getting infections from procedures like a colonoscopy and all that stuff.
The
they didn't clean
anxiety,
the
depression.
utensils.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got in touch with the medical board and filed a complaint against that doctor because how dare you say anything about me? You didn't even do anything. You didn't examine me physically. She lied and said I was warm to the touch. Nina, she never touched me.
Yeah.
She stood 6 feet away, and this when COVID first really hit. She stood 6 feet away and was just like so cold and nonchalant. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in front of her with an abdomen swollen.
Distended,
Yeah, she did nothing. So I had to go through all that only to get relief. I got relief in October. It was like for the first time, I can finally eat, breathe, sleep. But it hurted me as a person because first of all, I didn't get taken seriously.
No.
And then I had to fight with them to amend it from what she wrote and had her, they finally amended it, but they tried to take up for her, talking about she'll be disciplined in private. She disrespected me in public by not doing her job.
Yeah, she didn't do due diligence.
She got away with it, Nina. She got away with it. They told her they didn't find anything wrong. Despite I had all the proof, but I did not give up. I called every organization, Nina, I can find. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
Every Food Drug Administration. I called everybody and made sure I had documentation on file.
Okay.
I don't care whether you don't want to do nothing to her, but it's on file what she did.
That paper trail, right? That paper trail is so important. And this is for, I think, all trauma. The paper trail can be so important to helping us get any sort of semblance of not even justice after the fact, but that it was real, that it validates it really happened.
Yes, ma'am. And after that, going through that, I developed an eating and feeding disorder. Like I was very afraid of food. My anxiety was just bad now. If it wasn't bad, it was bad now. Even prepping my own meals now, I still get anxiety. I have to take my medication because even looking at food is scary for me.
Yeah. And this wasn't the only instance of food.
No. So we're going to go into 2021. Okay. I'm finally now I'm in therapy. They're teaching me how to eat and my relationship with food and stuff. And Nina, it was, oh my gosh, I'm eating Kellogg's Raisin Bran Crunch, healthy food. I feel this weird sensation in my mouth only to, Nina, brace yourselves. It was maggots, feces, and larvae in Kellogg's Raisin Bran Crunch in my mouth. Oh, but it gets worse from there. I go and take the bag out the bottom of the freaking box. The maggots begin to crawl up the bag. Look down at my bowl. A maggot was starting to crawl up out of my bowl. That was it. I lost it. Mentally, I checked out. I was done.
Yeah.
And
mentally checked out, dissociated, disconnected.
Yes. Yep. And this is supposed to be healthy food. So it's not like I'm not eating healthy. You understand? It's not like I'm not making better choices. It's these companies just throwing food out the way they wanted it, and that right there is still an open case. They're found liable. Now we're going to fast forward to the present.
Okay. Is that one also, do I need to block that, the label that you set out, or can we say
No, the label's fine.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure.
You're good. The one in court, I can't say anything about, but the one it's not in court yet, so we're fine. Okay. Now this one, this open case, and this is for anyone that eats corn dogs. If you're a corn dog eater, I advise you, please be very careful. Just please, because I am a very careful person, like very selective since the last two incidents. And I'm eating a corn dog because they telling me Well, you need to learn to have a relationship with the food you like before. So corn dogs is my thing.
This is a real natural step too, also, right? Like learning to redefine your relationship with something.
So I said, okay, I'm going to have my favorite, a corn dog. As a kid, I love corn dogs. There's that relationship between, getting back to her.
Yes.
When I tell you, Nina, on the last piece of eating my corn dog, there's a big piece of wood, jagged wood, with spikes sticking out. And as I swallowed, it got stuck in the beginning of my throat. I literally was home alone at night.
Terrifying.
I had to force this piece of wood out of my throat, which resulted in it scraping my throat, losing skin, spitting up blood, and now one of my tonsils are severely big. It's severely big from an infection because the scratch caused an infection on this side. And I'm like, this cannot be happening again. Like, I just can't.
Yep.
You understand?
Yeah, so just when you think you're out, it pulls you back in, right?
Right. But then I also had to understand, Nina, what's so crazy about this last situation is it happened to someone 2 months before it happened to me, and they tried to hide it from me. And then it happened to someone a couple of months prior to that. So it's 3 incidences, including mine, where people were injured by their wood in the corn dog.
3 were reported that we know of, right?
Yeah. And the FDA, shout out to the FDA, they did a wonderful job. Whoever that investigator was, Nina, I'm telling you, he was angel sent because he was very thorough. He took my complaint. He didn't judge me. He was very attentive to what I had to say. And that's where the positive came in for me today.
Oh, yeah.
I got the actual report that he did. And when I tell you, Nina, he laid it out. He laid it out. He laid it out. He laid it out.
The truth.
And I'm just like so grateful to him because of all, the past things I had to go through with eating food. And these are healthy foods I'm eating. It's not like I'm, eating fried foods or just blindly eating. No, I'm particular about what I eat. And these big corporations think it's okay for a person to be injured. And then you just feel like, okay, we're just going to throw it to the side. They're nobody. No, you fight. You fight.
You said
to everyone out there listening, this is Kathryn Scurry, and I'm telling you, you fight. They got big lawyers. They think they got money. No, you fight. You have someone bigger than them. You have God, okay? You have the creator. So you keep fighting. So that's pretty much it, Nina. Right now, I'm out of flight mode. I'm finally at peace with myself because all that fighting I did paid off. It paid off.
Yeah.
I got all the documents today that worked in my favor. And it was just so humbling and so, the word I'm looking for, it was like a peace. I'm at peace. I can sleep tonight. Yes. I haven't slept good since August of 2020.
Yeah.
Even though it took 2 years and a month, it was worth that fight. I learned the lesson within all that. You understand?
Oh, absolutely.
It was a lesson I had to learn, Nina. No matter what, if your back's up against the wall, you keep fighting. That was the lesson. Usually I'll be like, okay, they won. I'm done with it. Nope, that wasn't gonna happen.
Not this time.
If you notice, the problem kept repeating itself because I wouldn't fight.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Think about it. In 2020, I let it go. In 2021, I let it go. But in 2022, it was like when I decided to fight back, Nina, I got my positive result for 2020 all the way to 2022.
Yes. One of the things that you just shared, man, of the so many things that you just shared, but one of the things reminded me of what we were talking about at the very beginning of this episode, which is accountability.
Yep.
right?
I took accountability. Yep.
I mean, you did, right? But here's what I love about this in particular is that not only like do we get to see and witness just a piece of your healing process, right? Thank you so much for sharing this, Kathryn, right? We get to witness a little bit of what gift it is to be able to actually take accountability, even for the scary things in our lives, but how it can ripple out and actually invite someone else to take accountability for
Yep.
what's happening, right? And we're talking about big corporations here, right? Lots of stuff gets dropped through the cracks accidentally as well as intentionally, right? And so while I definitely don't want to, I don't want anybody out there to be like, no, I can't eat corn dogs or can't eat Kellogg's cereal, look at right. This is right. Obviously not an everyday thing that I know
Right.
of, right?
Correct.
I'm like, what are the stats on this, right? However, we do know that this happens, that people with a lot of power can take advantage of people who seem to not have power, right?
Yep.
And the magic of what can happen when we say, no, actually, I'm going to hold myself accountable for what happened here, and I'm going to invite you to hold yourself accountable for what happened.
Exactly.
And
I
now
took
we have
accountability.
cases.
It was my choice, Nina. I chose to eat that corn dog that day, but that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean I have to take accountability for them and their screw up. I take accountability for what I do every day.
Yeah.
You understand?
Oh,
That
yes.
moment of me eating that corn dog, it was like, okay, you do realize you're eating this, and you have to be careful. And I was so careful. I sliced it up and kindly ate it, like I was supposed to. And it was still a piece of wooden stick in the batter that destroyed. I wake up every morning, I'm hoarse.
Yeah.
I cough a lot through the day. They got me seeing a throat specialist. I go back on the 5th. And it's just so trying, but I'm happy because I fought.
Yes. You
for
stood
this
up,
moment.
owned your truth so that you could have this right here that they weren't going to give you, right? Is the reality.
Nope.
Right?
Oh, they tried to push me away. They was like, oh, you did it to yourself. Seriously? Yeah, they did. They tried to say I did it to myself.
I'm not surprised by that, right? What people do when they're afraid, how they will cast other people down, how they will not take care of other people. Oh,
now, mind you,
goodness.
Nina,
tell me.
I did it to myself, but there's 3 sticks still in. I still have the corn dogs because they're sending for them. Now it's 3 sticks still in the uneaten, and the 3 sticks that I've eaten, but there's an extra piece of wood. Where did it come from? I didn't put it in there. But I'm serious, like, you guys, if you're listening, like, I am so excited to be sharing this with you guys because I want you to understand you have to fight. First, you have to take accountability of your own, and then you make other people take accountability for theirs. Don't take accountability for theirs. Don't ever. That's all I got to say, Nina. That's what I got to say. Yep. So I'm in my happy place, Nina. I'm home. And another positive thing that has transitioned me, my mom is here. She moved here from New York.
What?
Yes, she got here on the 14th. It was like when I was going through that, it was like the spiritual wouldn't allow her to be here. But it was like once I cleared that path, my mom, God made it to where my mom can come and live.
Yeah. You say that she couldn't before. Do we know what held her back?
Well, pretty much, I'm telling you the truth, Nina.
Yeah.
What I was going through, it was like every time I tried to get her here, I could never make it happen.
Yeah, he had no capacity for it, right? You were dealing with other things.
My space knew, like, you couldn't take this on right now. But as soon as I finished the fight and put my hands down, my mom was here.
You know what I love about you sharing this in particular, and this is of course through my lens, right? Limited as I am. And what I love about some of what you shared is like, right, you said God, the creator, right? And there's this a religious piece to it that I would label at least religion, right? And the spirituality piece, right? That you've talked about, the spiritual piece of it. And from our listeners out there who are neither religious nor spiritual, energy exists. Okay.
Yes, it does.
Energy exists. That is a scientific thing. We have lots of different types of energy that we have not categorized, right? And it exists and it ripples out and it affects different things. And so So some of what I'm feeling that we're even talking about is the beauty of what happens when you align, when you get aligned in your thoughts, your
Yep,
feelings, your behaviors in your life, how that ripples out for other people to start aligning with you. I mean,
exactly.
wow.
So, like Nina, I promise you, like if I've never been in my happy place, this is
Yeah.
the first time I've been at peace in years.
Woo!
And I've been at peace before,
Uh-huh.
through my transition in my careers and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, from
Mm-hmm.
music, baking and pastry, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but this is the first time I've actually just been in peace,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
not pieces. You see the
Peace.
difference?
I
I'm
love
in
the metaphorical
peace,
imagery. I like this imagery. Kathryn, I'm going to
not
ask you
pieces.
something then.
Okay.
So we have this image here, right, of moving from
Okay.
pieces to peace, right? Kathryn is in peace. If Kathryn is in peace, if that were like the role that you're embodying right now, right, where you're at, if she had one line that she would share to us, Kathryn in peace, what would she say?
Peace be still.
Peace be still. Mm.
That is the first thing that comes to mind. I promise you. Peace. People don't understand the power in that line. Peace
Mm.
be still.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it
Mm-hmm.
and you move it around, be still, there's peace. You
Mm-hmm.
see, peace be still.
Absolutely.
It's telling you, and that was my problem, Nina. I couldn't sit still. I felt like I had to do everything. I just got to do it. I just got peace, be
Be
still. When I
still.
sat still, that's when the true fight began. I had to
Mm-hmm.
sit still. I was all over the place. That was the
It,
problem.
it's hard to have perspective when we're in multiple places, right?
Correct.
Peace, be still, ground, center. This is something, especially for those of us who have trauma, but anybody who, right, you're struggling, you having a hard time gaining perspective and clarity, be still.
Be
Right.
still.
It
That's it.
doesn't mean like lay down and don't look and cover your eyes and go away. Right. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just be still. Stand there. It's stuff's gonna keep moving around. Just
Mm-hmm.
be
Just
still.
be still.
Right. Ooh. Okay. Oh my gosh. So, Kathryn, there's so many other directions I could take this to explore some of the like just the gold that you brought to us. But I know that we're nearing the end of the episode. So I have to say, what are our takeaways? We set out to, grapple with a hard conversation to turn it into a teachable moment. Do you feel like we succeeded?
Yes, I do. And I hope my story helps someone else,
Mhm.
like I really do, because just know that when you think you're down and out,
Mhm.
they're out there. That positive energy is out there.
Mhm.
Those spiritual angels are out there. They
Mhm.
might not come in the way you might think it's going to come.
Mhm.
Sometimes it comes in numbers, because I'm telling you, for the past 4 weeks all I saw was numbers and
Mhm.
messages,
Mhm.
and I followed that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually okay. So I'm going to add one more thing.
No,
I know
fine, let's do it.
we're at the end here, but I think this is so beautiful because so a big part of my job is having human to human conversations, which means the way that I view humanity is so multifaceted that it often is I hear one thing in one language and I see it in a million others, right? Or one person who says one thing and I hear it and see it, right, and experience it in a multifaceted way. And what
Right.
I mean by that is, as Kathryn, right, as you sit here, right, and everybody listening and watching, as Kathryn sits here and says the numbers are what spoke to her, it's how the universe spoke, right? There are so many different ways that the universe speaks to us that we are
Mm-hmm.
able to receive messages. So for Kathryn, it may have been numbers at this point, right? Which is fantastic, right? And then I
Mm-hmm.
think for someone else, it might be imagery. For someone else, swear I was struggling one day and I was looking out for a message, looking out for a message. I looked up in the clouds, swear it was an angel. It was
Mm-hmm.
an angel with the light around it, cloud. I was like, no way. I'm safe. I looked away, I looked back, same thing. I was like, that's just for me. That's just for me right now. That's the universe calling out to me saying, Nina, I see you. I see you. Right.
This is true.
So there's so many different messages out there. Everyone hears and sees them differently. So the reason why I want to go ahead and put a little frame around this is the beauty of recognizing messages are constantly being sent. Are you listening?
Yes, this is true. And just this little short note, as well as the numbers, because the numbers always was at the top of, you know, where your time is on your cell phone.
Yes.
I always saw the numbers there, or if I open YouTube, it was, you know, like a meme with the 1111 or the 222, or it was a message from a like a person of religion. Like that's how I saw it. So it wasn't only the numbers. It would go back to back. First I'd see the numbers, then I'd see the message in the meme, and then I'll see this person saying, "Are you tired? Do you feel like you've been fighting? Well, let me let you know God is fighting." Like it was just so
universe is talking.
It was talking, honey, and it would not shut up.
And you were listening. I love it.
Yes, I did listen.
I love it. I love it.
Just for everybody, you know, listen, pay attention. That's the best advice I can tell you. Fight, peace be still, listen, and pay attention.
Yes.
If you don't take nothing from that, those are the things you need to do. And accountability should be the first on that list. So you should have 5.
I hope y'all are journaling about this. This is fantastic. Kathryn, thank you so much for being here. I want to check in as we check out. What's your internal weather now?
Oh, I feel like it's my birthday. I do. I feel like I've just released like tons and tons and weeks of stress. And before you guys go, I just want to let you guys know that Queer Therapy Network, we will be live September 26th of 2022. You can go to www.queertherapynetwork.com. The lovely Miss Nina is going to be up there. We're going to get her all the way together on the platform so you guys can, you know, interact with her there, as well as other providers and community members about mental health.
Fantastic. So yes, I love that. So just in case y'all didn't know, because that was the first time I think we recognized Queer Therapy Network on the episode, right? And I'll go back. I'll also say it in the intro that will happen before this. But all of that's going to be in the show notes, y'all, for y'all to make sure that you have a direct listen to that. So if you didn't write it down, I promise you it will be in the show notes. You can just scroll down and click the link, okay? And the reason why I always do the internal weather check in and check out is so that we can see what happens when you recognize like the only way out is through. If you just keep moving through, how much better you feel, how much more open you feel, how much more free you feel at the end, right? We went from, I'm at peace, I was here. And then it's like, now it's my birthday. I've got more freedom. I'm feeling liberated. Right? Like, are we going to go to a party now? Right. And then you say birthday. And I think this is the start of a new year for you, right? The birthday is that's our new year. Like this could be your new year. Here it is. You got the news. Let's be ready for a different kind of world for Kathryn moving forward.
Yes, ma'am. Like I'm telling you, Nina, it was all worth the fight. That's all I can say.
It was worth the fight. I hope that more and more people can be able to realize that if you can keep moving forward, just keep moving forward, right? That even that could be qualified as the fight. You just keep moving forward. Okay. Kathryn, where can listeners find you before the Queer Therapy Network? Yes. Is there someplace else on Instagram or something else that you want people to know about?
Well, they can follow me at Queer Therapy Network on Instagram, at Queer Therapy Net.
Beautiful.
On Twitter. I haven't been as active as I should. As you guys can tell, I've been in fight and flight mode and my mom's here. So, just bear with me. But we are moving forward with the mental health platform. So you guys can send me a message. Help. If you even got something you want to discuss with me and you need my help, just inbox me. I'll point you in the right direction.
Human to human conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Kathryn, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Of course, Miss Nina. I got my New Yorker.
Hey. I'm always like, when a New Yorker meets another New Yorker not in New York, because the energy is palpable.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you so much for being here. Folks listening, I hope that this has been so beneficial for you because that is what we planned for today. So, thank you for taking a minute to explore your triggers as a human being. And of course, if this episode in particular was beneficial for you, share it. Let people know about it. Put it on your Facebook, share it on your Instagram as a
Oh,
story.
I will.
I mean,
Definitely.
this is what we want people to do, right? Is all you listening and watching out there, share it so that we keep the dialogue going, right? Trigger, can we play with that? Transforming hard conversations into teachable moments. If you're not having the conversation, you're not getting the teachable moment, right? Let's have the dialogue, keep it going, whether it's with you in that journal or you and that friend, right? Okay. Share
Amen.
the episode. And otherwise, y'all stay curious.